Giving unto God who's truly head of my life, Minister Lord Speaight, all my father's children. I thank the Lord for another Lord's Day. I thank Him for just keeping me safe thus far. I thank Him for just who He is. He's a God of blessing. He's a God of second chance, and for that I am grateful. I think about as I was yesterday. I was just thinking about like how many people who have started the Christian walk, but somewhere, something in their past caused them to go backwards. And I was just thinking about how, looking back over your past, that it has some benefits, because looking at your past can help you to avoid mistakes that you'll make in the future. But I'm reminded of Genesis, the 19th chapter, about Sodom and Gomorrah. The Lord had told Abraham that He was going to destroy. And so Abraham, he pleaded, he said that if I could find 10 righteous, I will not destroy. But he couldn't find 10 righteous people. You know, he went down 40, 50, 40, 30, 20. Can I find 10? Can I find 5? Well, anyone that's familiar with the Bible know that Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed. But Abraham's nephew Lot and his family was spared. But the Lord told him that I'm going to destroy it with fire and brimstone. But whatever you do, don't look back unless you be consumed. And sure enough, the Lord started to destroy, and Lot and his family took flight. But we know the story that Lot's wife, she looked back and she turned to a pillar of salt. What was in her past destroyed her future. See, too many times we turn back and the old things just take us away. We start missing things that we used to do. Maybe we do it for acceptance. Maybe our Christian walk is not as strong as we thought it was. But for whatever reason, I just wanted to talk for a few minutes about don't let your past destroy your future. Don't allow your past to destroy your future. In the Roman days, what they would do, they would take murderers. If you murdered someone, they would actually take your victim and put it on the murderer's back. And he had to walk around with this victim on his back until he rotted. And sin is the same way. We carry that dead weight on us. That weight that keeps us from growing in Christ. Also, it talks about in Matthew, the 12th chapter, that when a spirit is taken out of the house, it goes to and fro trying to find somewhere else to roam. And it comes back to the house, and he finds the house is swept clean and in order. And it goes get 7 more demons and bring back. And it says the state of the man's condition is in a worse state than it was from the beginning. Bottom line, what it's saying is that when God delivers you from something, if you allow yourself to go back to what He brought you out of, that your state is going to be worse than when you initially was delivered from it. We need to understand that God has the power to keep us from going in the wrong direction. God gave us the power over sin, but we have to use it. We have to rebuke the enemy, stay prayed up, making sure that we focus on what thus says the Lord, and keep our mind on things positive. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with looking back over the past to keep from making the same mistakes. Apostle Paul said, not that I obtained, he said, but I look forward to the prize of the higher calling, leaving those things behind. God's deliverance shouldn't be in vain. And what we want to do is to make sure that we have that progressive walk. That is through sanctification. Let us to be going farther and farther in the Christian walk, that sanctification, until we meet that ultimate sanctification when we go to live with Christ. There's nothing wrong with reflecting. They say experience is the best teacher. And in some cases, that is true. But you don't have to experience everything to know what's good for you and what's bad for you. And anything that holds you and keep you from progressing on up the King's Highway, we need to ask the Lord, take it from us. When we have communion, we shouldn't be going to the communion first Sunday after Sunday, asking the Lord to deliver us from things that He's already brought us out of. It becomes a vicious circle, because don't you understand that if you keep going in a circle, you'll be just like the children of Israel, who walked around and around and around and kept going back to their foolishness. And because of that, a 2-week journey took 40 years. We have to understand that God made a way for us to be delivered. Everybody, their journey is different. Sometimes it takes longer. But what I'm saying, I'm just telling you to remember Lot's wife. Don't reflect and don't look back too long. Don't look back so long that it causes you to want to go back, because it can lead to your destruction. God wants us to move forward. He wants us to get grounded and rooted in Him, stay in our Bibles, and keep our mind on positive things. You know, it's said that idle time is the devil's workshop. When we have idle time on our hand, it causes us to do something and to look for things that, you know, we go out and we see, well, they may be having fun, but why I can't have no fun? And that's a trick of the enemy. He wants you to think that you're missing something that the world has to offer. And it talks about the lust of the eyes, and we love to satisfy flesh. And that is why we can't let go of our past. That's why we can't. And we ought to be positive role models. The other thing is that you need to be around positive people. I know all of us know some people that they're so negative that they actually drain all of your energy. Always a sad sack, always a black cloud over their head. They never are happy. Well, you know what? That stuff is emotionally draining. Because it does say, think on things that are pure, and things are lovely, and things of good rapport, things are honest. We want to think on those things. And when we come and say, Lord, deliver me, I surrender. I think a lot of times we can't be delivered because we cannot surrender. We can't have one foot in the world and one foot in the church, because you won't grow like that. And most of the time, you wind up getting back out in the world versus drawing people in. Because don't be fooled. Don't ever think you're so grounded and rooted that you can't get pulled back out in the world. See, that's a trick of the enemy. And never think that you can't be taken back, because you can. But when God delivers us from something, let us stay delivered. And never let our past destroy our future, or keep us from progressing with the Lord, going up a little higher. Because God wants to give us some rewards here. We don't have to wait till we get to heaven for all our rewards. But what God wants us to do, He do want us to deny ourselves. My pastor talked about denying yourself. We have to take up our cross and deny ourselves. And the only way we can deny ourselves is to put God first. You know, it's about self-sacrifice. You know what? If you have to have some suffering here, on this old mean old world, in these peerless times, don't you know the greater the journey, the greater the rewards when we do go to heaven? But we don't have to wait until we get to heaven because God want to bless us now. God has a way of blessing us. And we have to understand that hell was not meant for us. Hell was not meant for us. And God don't send anyone to hell. But guess what? but he honors your choice. If you want to live in that way, God allows it. But you don't have to, because God wants everyone to be saved. But whatever it is that's hindering you from a closer walk, the thing that you can't let go of, that's something that has that much power on you, you got to understand that God has the power to break every change. And what we got to do is just keep on telling him, Lord, I surrender, and I can't do this. This is bigger than me. But I know it's not bigger than you, because let me tell you something. The giants before you should never be bigger than the God that's in you. If you understand, David, when he went to face Goliath, he didn't come to stand there and contemplate on how big Goliath was. What he did, he focused on how big his God was, because he knew God was going to deliver him. See, it don't matter how big your enemy is, because God is always bigger. And I say this too, when a lot of us, and we look for quick get rich schemes, and we do things, and you know what, for each his own. If you pay your tithes or whatever, you play lottery or whatever like that, let me tell you something. I don't care. The Powerball, God is always going to be bigger. There's not a lottery bigger than God, but trusting in him. But, it comes in time. Like I did a video saying that, it's in God's timing. Your blessing, maybe you're not ready to receive it yet, and God know it, because he got to set your heart and your mind. Because, you know what? If you would hit that Powerball, then you'll think it's luck. See, I don't believe in luck. I believe in blessings. I mean, I don't play lottery, but I'm just saying, there's no such thing as luck. My grandmother used to tell me, she said, there's only one bad luck. People, don't sweep my feet. Black cat go across the road. And my grandmother used to always say, you know what? Don't worry about none of them superstitions. She said, there's only one bad luck. She said, that's to miss heaven and go to hell. That's what my grandmother used to say all the time. But like I said, hell is not for God's people. And we have to know that. Hell is for Satan and his fallen angels and the ones that reject Jesus. If you accept Christ as your personal Savior, knowing you're a work in progress, we're not going to be perfect. And everybody come to Christ and they work out their own salvation with fear and trembling. But always try to go forward and pray to the Lord that you don't go backwards. Hey, it's a tedious journey. Sometimes this Christian journey is not without opposition. But he said, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. That's in Isaiah 54:17. Now, he didn't say that no weapons will come against you, but he said none of them will prosper. And that's what we have to realize. That it can't defeat you. Like Satan, he wants to mess with you. But guess what? He's a defeated foe, which means he can't have dominion over you because you are a child of God. So we have to keep things in perspective. But I thank God for what he has done. But I just want people to realize that use your past for an experience to help you to go a little higher. But never let your past, never let it allow to destroy your future. Because God want to bless you. And he wants you to be better than blessed. And those blessings, they trickle down from you to your children, to your grandchildren, great-grandchildren. Because there is a thing as generational blessings, but there's generational curses. But break the chain right then. You need to break it. God will take care of you. But we just have to trust and depend on him. Just knowing that this Christian journey, sometimes we make it so hard. But take baby steps. Because it's better for you to take baby steps and stay moving in the right direction than to take giant steps and then to go backwards. That's the same thing about weight loss. People set unrealistic goals. I'm going to lose 100 pounds in a month. No. Set realistic goals. Say, you know what? I'm going to lose 1 pound a week. Set something that you can achieve. When you first come to Christ, I'm going to church every Sunday. I'm going to be at every opening. I'm going to put all my money in the church. I'm going to love everybody. No, you're not. So don't tell that story. No, you're not. We're works in progress. We ought to love everybody, but everybody not so lovable. That comes with sanctification. That comes with a Christian walk. And you can't tell me. It takes some perseverance to love everybody. And as soon as you come to Christ, you're not going to be in that position. There's going to be some things. You're going to have some evil thoughts. Say some words. We all do it. And we have to understand that. That's why we can't point fingers at nobody else. But all we can do is encourage them to go a little higher and work on our own salvation with fear and trembling. We got to understand that salvation is a personal thing, that you work it out with the Lord. Nobody else can work it out but you. We know where our shortcomings is. We know where our strong points is. And you got to be aware of the enemy. See, we got to stay aware of Satan's devices. First of all, Satan ain't going to try to trip you up with something that's totally outrageous. I mean, if you've been grounded and rooted, one would hope that you wouldn't be in there lusting over the deacons and the preachers and stuff. You know, I'm just saying, and vice versa. The secretary, the deaconess, whatever. But I'm just saying, but he trip you up with the little things. You know, I don't like such and such. I don't like so and so. You know, I don't care for this person. Then you start getting mad. Think they looked at you wrong. Then you don't come to church for 3 or 4 months because you mad. You know what? But guess what? When you hold grudges and resentment, guess what? You keep your own self a prisoner. It don't hurt the other person. It hurts you because you can't grow. And when you got that hardness hard, God can't. He need to chisel away some of that and have that love. Because you can love people where they are, no matter who it is. The most unlovable people, you can love them where they are. And that's what Jesus did. But I'm going to tell you something. Look at our past. Use it as a stepping stone for our future. That's what God wants us to do. I hope you had a blessed day in the Lord and continue to just give him reverence. And you know what? I remember back in the day, you know, the Lord's Day, the Sabbath day, whatever, you know, 7-day Adventist, you know, they celebrate on Saturday, you know, whatever your Sabbath day is. But I remember back in the day when grocery stores wouldn't even be open on Sunday. Because even though they wasn't a Christian, they had reverence for the Lord's Day. So many things has changed. Holidays, even now, I remember a time, Black Friday, you had to wait till Friday to shop. Now they're opening on Thanksgiving because they want to get that extra money. You know, so they don't even, you know, it's all about money. And like I said, you know, we got to understand something. That we're going to have some things in our heart. And some things are harder than others. And sometimes it takes us longer to get delivered from things. But once God take you out of it, just pray to God that you don't go back. Because if you keep going back, if you keep starting over, you can't reach that goal you want to get to. And it hinders your growth. But I just want to talk for a little while. Sodom and Gomorrah got destroyed. But Lot's wife, she looked back. Because she started to long for what she was leaving behind. And let us not get caught up in the same thing. We look at well, if I come up out the world, I can't do this and I can't do that. Let's focus on what we can have. Because if God took you away from it, he took you away from it for a reason. And see, God keeps us through danger seen and unseen. So know that whatever you do, use your past as a stepping stone to get you more grounded and rooted in the Lord. I thank God for each and every one of you. Minister Lora Speaight. Be blessed. Have a safe weekend. And I thank all of you for who have seen Twin Ministries following me. I thank God for you. And the peace of Jesus be with each and every one of you. Bless your families. Continue to be safe. All my Father's children, may God's peace and love abide with you. The ones that are going through difficult times, Stay focused on God, because He is the ultimate deliverer, and He can keep you in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on Thee. May God bless each and every one of you. Thank you.